Protesters across the nation are gathering outside Apple stores. We'll take you live to the Santa Monica Apple store to see what protesters are saying. Students and parents want to stop a gun program in LA schools. Find out what they're concerned about.
A freeway project near campus will be completed soon. See how this will affect the University Park community.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
You're looking live at a rally outside of the Apple store in Santa Monica, where protesters are showing their support for Apple in their battle with the FBI. Protesters are gathering outside Apple stores across the country. Good evening, I'm Taylor Edghill.
And I'm Ivana Nguyen. ATVN's Whitney Ashton is live in Santa Monica, where the group Fight for the Future is protesting. Whitney?
That's right, Ivana. Privacy advocates are here to support the company's refusal to comply with a court order that would allow FBI investigators into the phone of the San Bernardino shooter. I have one of the protesters, Aki Rose, here now. Aki, what does Fight for the Future hope to achieve with today's protest?
We're here to support Apple and their decision to fight the FBI on this decision. The problem with ordering Apple to create this software is that they're not able to do it just as one device, like the FBI is saying. In order for Apple to produce the software, it would be able to unencrypt any iOS device, and that's hundreds of millions of devices and hundreds of millions of people who all have their own reasons that their things need to be secure. Whether it's people working in our infrastructure or people who have reasons that they need to be private and safe. So it's a safety issue, really. That's what it comes down to.
Thank you so much, Aki. As you can see, the clash between Apple and the FBI is just heating up. Live from Santa Monica, I'm Whitney Ashton. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks so much, Whitney. Microsoft founder Bill Gates also weighed in on Apple's decision today, saying tech companies must recognize the appropriate balance between security and privacy.
I don't think Apple's going to defy, maybe they'll take it all the way to the Supreme Court. I doubt we'll go in the direction of saying, okay, let's make the government blind because they messed up in the past. But the overall discussion is worthwhile.
We'll continue to bring you more coverage on the ongoing privacy debate between Apple and the FBI.
Investigators have arrested a man suspected of killing a 1-year-old girl shot in a Compton home earlier this month. Ray Howard Patterson was arrested for allegedly killing Autumn Johnson. The 1-year-old was in her crib when she was struck with gunfire on February 9th. Patterson is being held without bail in downtown LA. He is due in court on Wednesday.
Nevada Republicans are caucusing tonight. Our reporter Max Schwartz is live in the media center with the latest on the GOP battle. Max?
Thank you, Taylor. Caucus venue started to open about an hour ago in the First in the West caucus for the Republicans. We are still waiting on results, but if we have them by later in the show, we will try to bring them to you. It took until after the caucus had started, but frontrunner Donald Trump once again started dominating the Twitterverse. As of 5:35 tonight, in tweets using hashtag #NVCaucus, Nevada Caucus, or the two words Nevada Caucus, hashtag NV Caucus was included in more than 35,000 tweets, followed by Nevada Caucus in more than 31,000. Then Trump started to appear with Trump 2016 in more than 9,900 tweets, Then we had Trump NV in 9,700, then Cruz Crew in more than 5,300. Trump also had numbers in 9 and 10 out of the top 10. Back to you.
Thanks, Max. President Obama is making a last effort to close the Guantanamo Bay detention facility in Cuba. Today, he sent a plan to Congress to move the Guantanamo detainees to U.S. prisons.
For many years, it's been clear that the detention facility at Guantanamo Bay does not advance our national security. Keeping this facility open is contrary to our values. We're going to work with Congress to find a secure location in the United States to hold remaining detainees.
The Pentagon is considering 13 sites to transfer the detainees. This includes 7 federal prisons in Colorado, South Carolina, and Kansas, as well as 6 military bases. Obama says closing Guantanamo Bay will lower costs by $85 million a year, or nearly $2 billion in 20 years. But those who oppose the transfer fear the move will be a threat to national security.
Some of our political candidates are now sort of seizing on the apprehensions of the American people to play this up in an election year, is leading most people in the country to think that even if they're not really in favor of Guantanamo, they're even less in favor of having these suspected terrorists detained in their backyard.
In response to Obama's plan, Republican presidential candidates Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio publicly voiced their opposition.
The next president is going to have to look in the eyes of a father or mother that we have to send your son to go capture these terrorists again or kill them because President Obama released them to pose a threat to this country.
Guantanamo Bay is infamously known for its interrogation practices, torture, and hunger strikes. Currently, there are 91 detainees. A few of them are awaiting trial by a military court, while others are cleared to be transferred, but remain on site, and over half of the detainees are still being evaluated.
Protests in Delhi, India have left people without access to water. Demonstrators were rallying against job discrimination when a group damaged a major water facility. Residents say it is affecting many daily activities.
When water is required in the morning, it doesn't come. It comes only in the evening, and more water is not required. So all the washing and bathing, that is required in the morning only. Life without water is hell.
70 million gallons of water per day. Indian authorities say engineers are repairing the supply station. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is now investigating 14 new Zika virus cases in the U.S., where the virus may have been sexually transmitted. The CDC says the Zika virus infected women whose only known risk factor was sexual contact with a male partner who had traveled to an infected area. There is increasing evidence that the virus causes serious birth defects. A CDC official recommends that women whose sex partners may have been exposed to Zika abstain from sex or use a condom. The CDC has added 3 new areas to its Zika travel advisory. They are Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean and the Marshall Islands in the Pacific. Pregnant women are encouraged to stay away from all affected countries.
California's gas tax is set to take a dip this summer. The California State Board of Equalization voted to cut the excise tax from 30 cents a gallon to 27.8 cents. This is the 3rd year in a row the board has lowered the gas tax. The new rate takes effect July 1st. Despite lower taxes, Californians still have to pay big money. Vice Chair of the board, George Runner, said, quote, "Unfortunately, even after the cut goes into effect, Californians will still pay some of the highest taxes in the nation. What we need now is for lawmakers to simplify our tax laws and look for ways to provide value for the money that Californians send to government," end quote. Drivers will now have to look to Sacramento for more gas tax relief. In the meantime, gas prices in the Southland are now at their lowest level since May 2009. The average price of a gallon of self-serve regular gasoline is now just $2.38. Stocks slid today after falling to session lows in the final hour. The Dow dropped 188 points, ending at 16,431. The Nasdaq also slipped with a drop of 67 points, ending at 4,503.
A community forum is underway right now to discuss a proposed off-ramp that would fly over a section of streets in the University Park neighborhood. Annenberg Media's Ryan Thompson has details on Caltrain's proposed expansion and the community members who are fighting back. Ryan?
The intersection at Adams and Flower is already a driver's worst nightmare at rush hour. It's where toll roads meet buses and local traffic meets trains. Now Caltrans wants to expand those toll roads over the intersection, giving drivers a new shortcut into downtown.
In Los Angeles, sometimes it's hard to keep moving. But a proposed project designed to ease congestion from Metro and Caltrans is causing concern for some members of the University Park community.
It's going to be really damaging to a neighborhood
4 years ago, Metro and Caltrans piloted these high-occupancy toll lanes. Designed to keep drivers moving on the 110, they have special on- and off-ramps in the University Park neighborhood. They're quick, efficient, and now Metro and Caltrans are trying to expand them.
Billed as the I-110 flyover, this unfinished stub of freeway will finally be finished. It will extend a toll road past the current exit ramp at Adams Boulevard, hovering over churches, businesses, to Figueroa Street. Jean Frost is the vice president of the West Adams Heritage Association. She's fighting to put the $40 million project on hold.
Our neighborhood, there are times that people think, well, you have a Popeye's fried chicken in an ugly mini mall, so what is another bad project? We put something 54 feet high in concrete, it'll never go away, and it'll continue to attract negative impacts.
Caltrans' extensive 300-page environmental assessment accounts for the historic St. John's Church, which sits directly below the project, but the report insists that it would not intrude on the existing visual character and that neighbors, the people who view the road, and highway users will not be affected by the proposed project. Members of the parish don't buy that.
Institutions like Caltrans and other bureaucracies of that size have a singular focus, and theirs is to move people on highways. They don't really care about the damages they do to the communities they go through.
And a representative for Caltrans told Annenberg Media that they will work with community members to develop a solution for everyone. They're expected to attend the community forum about the proposed flyover tonight. From the Annenberg Media Center for Annenberg Media, I'm Ryan Thompson.
Thanks, Ryan. The diversity in Hollywood continues as we get closer to the Oscars. Find out what experts think should be done to increase diversity in films.
And police crack down on students with fake IDs trying to get into the popular 9-0. We talk with DPS about what students face if they get caught.
USC students are building model airplanes for a competition. We'll go behind the scenes of this campus club.
If you store your guns properly, I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please, do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Yes, I am. Give it to him hard. No.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why stab me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how. Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Protesters disrupted today's LAUSD meeting. Demonstrators called for the district to account for any military-style weapons on school campuses.
Teachers, not tanks. Teachers, not tanks. Teachers, not tanks. Teachers, not tanks.
Demonstrators and students were calling for an end to a federal program that distributed excess military equipment to local agencies. The equipment ranges from laptops to weapons, including grenade launchers.
We wanted to say that this is a public debate. The type of weapons you have inside of our school district that you can potentially use on our young people is debatable, because we know that for Ferguson, for Baltimore, when communities demand power and respect, their response has been militarization. It has been the gun.
The district says it has returned the last of the military-style weapons that were distributed to campuses on the controversial federal 1033 program. And students are reacting to news of a crackdown on fake IDs by DPS and the LAPD over the weekend. 21 students were detained at a popular off-campus bar Thursday night. Annenberg Media's Cole Sullivan reports from the 9-0.
Last weekend's shooting by an Uber driver in Michigan raises concerns about student safety using the ride-sharing service. USG is working to ensure students are secure when using USC's free student Uber service.
We're so grateful to have Uber as an option for students to take on campus, and if they feel comfortable taking it, they should do it. I always say use the buddy system and go with a friend, so you're more safe than sorry.
Along with Uber, students have the option to take Campus Cruiser, driven by USC students.
For the incident in Kalamazoo, I've never really felt uneasy in the back of an Uber.
I've never actually checked the rating of an Uber, and I've never had a personal experience where I felt really uncomfortable.
Every driver's been super nice. I felt comfortable and always gotten to my destination on time.
For students, taking Uber or Campus Cruiser are both safer alternatives to walking alone at night. Well, Taylor, we are having some beautiful weather lately.
Yeah, we definitely have been. But let's check in with our weather anchor, Jasmine Kianford, to see if this will keep up.
So it has been beautiful quite lately. Last couple weeks we saw it was kind of really cold. We were all freezing, and then it got to scorching temperatures, but it looks like we're kind of getting a little bit more mild and seeing the temperatures that we're used to seeing typically here in Southern California. Let's go ahead and take a look at our current temperatures and see where we stand right now. We are at 73 degrees, so low 70s. We're starting to cool down for the night. It is pretty comfortable still outside. Winds 3 miles per hour, so not too windy. It's a little bit more humid than what we were seeing last week where it was really dry. But let's go ahead and take a look at tomorrow's temperatures all throughout Southern California and see if we are going to get just as lucky. Palm Springs 82, so it is a little bit cooler down there as well. Riverside, San Bernardino looking at those low 80s as well. For folks up in Big Bear, you are at 57, so not too cold either. Let's go ahead and move further up the coast to Malibu and see where Malibu is at. 77, so looking nice and comfortable. Good day to be down in Malibu. As we go into the valley, Simi Valley, you're looking at 81, so it's probably still dry and kind of warm up there, but it is cooler than last week. Northridge, you're also looking at 83. Let's go ahead and take a look at temperatures closer to home. For folks down in Anaheim, we are at 86. Pasadena 84, Glendale 83, so we're kind of staying in those mid 80s. LAX 77. Here at USC, we are at 81, so we are a little bit hotter tomorrow, but let's go ahead and take a look at our 5-day forecast and see if we're going to stay that way. Tomorrow, 84, Friday, 82, Saturday, 76, Sunday, 77. So we are going to be cooling down just a little bit, but we're kind of going to stay in those high 70s to low 80s. It's going to be a great weekend, and it's a good thing that we're having clear skies because this week we're taking a look at a club on campus that's learning how to take flight.
We get the rules, we design a plane.
You heard him right. The aero design team of USC designs a plane every year to compete in an international competition. This year's competition will take them to Kansas.
So this is our competition plane from last year. It's really beat up because, like I said, we had to fix it basically mid-competition, completely rebuild it.
The team uses materials such as Kevlar, carbon fiber, foam, and various woods to build a plane that not only meets the designated design requirements, but flies successfully in the competition.
It's a really great way to apply what you learn in school to real-world applications, and also, you know, it's a great springboard for things like internships and research opportunities.
No secrets you can tell me about this year's plane, huh? Top secret mission.
Top secret for now. We can't, let any of our trade secrets get out.
And the team is actually heading out to Kansas to compete in April. And I have to say, I was kind of intimidated walking into their little studio with all the tools and equipment everywhere.
I know, that's so cool.
Yeah, you can definitely tell there's a lot of talent in that club for sure. Thanks so much, Jasmine. Well, guys, diversity in Hollywood was the focus of a panel today hosted by the lifestyle media company Icon Man.
Diversity is something that is a conscious thought or effort. You're thinking of how to bring these people into your circle, whereas inclusion is they're already part of the field of thought and consciousness. And so we're now in Hollywood, we will just be creating stories based on great content, whether those people be brown, black, whether they be transgender, whether they are disabled. We're just looking for great content.
The goal of the event was to discuss ways to make Hollywood more inclusive. The panel included studio heads who have been a part of ethnically diverse films in the past. One of the hot topics for the panel was the lack of inclusion in the Academy Awards. Event organizers say Hollywood must become more diverse for minorities to be represented more frequently at the Oscars.
Well, spring sports are in full swing for the men and women of Troy.
That's right, Ivana, and there's a lot going on right now for USC athletics. Our sports anchor Ty Hawkins has more for us.
Thank you, ladies. Speaking of swings, the women's golf team wrapped up the Gold Rush Invitational today. The men's basketball team goes on the road to face Stanford and Cal in the Bay Area this weekend. For the second week in a row, a USC women's lacrosse player was named MSPF Player of the Week. We've got all that and more coming up. Sports are fun, and they're next.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late,
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
be nice. She's new. Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened? Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Welcome back to ATVN. Tommy Robinson had one of the biggest hits of the young USC baseball season, a walk-off home run against the University of North Dakota last weekend. The Trojans hope to keep the bats moving tonight when they go on the road to face Loyola Marymount. Both teams have identical records of 1-2. Currently, the score is 0-0 in the second inning. USC hasn't lost to LMU since 2008 and is looking for their first road win of the season. Age ain't nothing but a number. The Gold Rush Golf Tournament was dominated today by the underclassmen of the women's golf team. Freshman Robin Ree outshot junior Amy Lee by 1 stroke for her first collegiate win. Junior Tiffany Chan followed her teammates with a third-place finish for the #1 ranked women of Troy. The win marked the team's third of the season. Up next for USC is a trip to South Carolina for Hootie's Darius Rucker Invitational. The USC women's lacrosse team made history when they beat Duke 11-5 last Friday. The win marked the program's first over a top 10 ranked opponent. With great effort comes great reward. Senior defender Courtney Tarleton was named MPSF Defensive Player of the Week. Tarleton had 3 ground balls and a turnover in the win over the Blue Devils. USC is currently ranked number 12 in the polls and 2-0 for the first time ever. Up next for the women of Troy is Michigan on March 4th at McAllister Field at 3. March Madness is almost here. With 4 games remaining before the Pac-12 tourney in Vegas, the USC men's basketball team is focused on one thing. They play on one thing, and hey, they just want to win.
We have to come out in the first half with energy. We got to stop playing catch-up, especially if we want to go to the tournament, because that's teams are. It's a different. I mean, I've never been, but teams are a lot better in the tournament. So I think it's imperative that we win out. Honestly, that's our goal.
The Trojans finish up the regular season with a homestand against Oregon and Oregon State in early March. The women's basketball team closes out their regular season this week at the Galen Center. A pair of wins would give them a better seed headed into the conference tournament beginning March 3rd. Friday night, they played number 9 Arizona State at 6, followed by the Arizona Wildcats Sunday at 3. With 5 teams ranked in the top 25, the Pac-12 may be the strongest conference when it comes to women's swimming and diving. Tomorrow, the Pac-12 championships get underway at the Weyerhaeuser King County Aquatic Center in Washington. The Trojans are competing for their first conference title since 1985. Last year, they finished second. The fire has burned low this season for the Calgary Flames. Tonight, the Los Angeles Kings hope to put out the inferno for good. Currently, the Kings sit at the top of the Pacific Division and 4th place in the Western Conference. Neither the Flames nor the Kings has fared well recently, each losing 5 of their last 10. The puck drops at 7:30 tonight at the Staples Center.
Lots of women's sports going on for USC this week.
A lot of women's sports, and I think it's a great thing to have all that. We were talking about diversity and women in sports around campus. I think it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
Thanks so much, Ty.
Olympics might be coming in LA. Do Angelenos want it to come in town? Find out in this new poll.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up?
Oh, we finally bought a place.
Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Was it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
That's slow, that's slow. That's slow. Look, he's blushing.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
Well, guys, we have the DPS package for you here. 21 students, again, were detained at a popular club outside of USC campus, the 90. Annenberg Media's Cole Sullivan reports from there right now.
It's one of USC's most popular weekend hangout spots.
If you don't want to go to the Row, the 90 is the only other place you can go.
But Thursday night, DPS and the LAPD cracked down, citing 21 students for having fake IDs at the bar.
DPS works with LAPD, and this was, by the way, LAPD driven, where periodically they will do operations to check for people using fake IDs at bars and restaurants. And everyone knows the 901 is the bar here.
An employee here at the 90 told me what happens is undercover officers will wait by the door, checking students' IDs as they enter. If the ID is fake, that's when the student is pulled out of line and cited by DPS officers. Deputy Chief Carlisle says since the LAPD led Thursday's operation, the punishments are severe.
It's usually a combination of fine and probation. $300 or $400 fine. Sometimes there's added court costs that can make it higher.
One student resisted arrest on Thursday, leading officers on a foot chase. Carlisle says that just makes matters worse.
I mean, the courts take a very dim view. If a person, doesn't necessarily have to be a student, who's being lawfully detained, then tries to evade the officers and then resists, that's just adding additional charges and making a bad situation worse.
Watching Annenberg TV News, guys. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Taylor Edgell.
And I'm Ivana Nguyen. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.